We want to find hope. We want to give steps that really bring you closer to the person that you want to be, that really reflect your internal value, and that you can really become a multifaceted person. Hello and welcome to part 2 of the 8 core areas of our lives. This is a continuation from the first video. Enjoy as I begin with number 5. The 5th area is career and business. This area focuses on your professional life, what you do for work, whether you run your own business or whether you work for somebody else, whether you're doing something entrepreneurial, online, whatever area is in that category, ministry that focuses on your vast majority of your time in your day towards working, whether it's earning money or caring for people. This area really is a big component to where, especially us as guys, find a whole lot of our value. We find a lot of times the vast majority of our value in what we do. We ask each other, that's one of the first questions that we ask is, what do you do? And so with this area, it is very important to reflect where you're at in this area and how much of it, your life and your value is consumed with it. It's not a bad thing to be consumed. Right now with my life, my career, my desire to present content online is all consuming. It consumes the vast majority of my life, vast majority of my conversations. And for seasons, a lot of times that's what you need to do. You need to have one of these areas kind of take up the majority of your life and really be the focal point. And if that goes on for a period of time, whatever that is for you, especially if your people around you are really supportive, then you need to do that. But to really understand that it is just one side of your fully faceted life, and that it's just one part of your value, and that your identity doesn't need to be wrapped up in this completely, that you can have other creative endeavors, especially in the creative world, that will really compete with this value in a good way. It will really take things that you want to make or bring into the world and bring this same kind of value to your life, where it's like all of the things being consumed with your career a lot of times will mean that you aren't able to be as creative. And so as you think about this area, think also of the creative world. Think about, how am I able to be more creative in the career, in the business that I am a part of, in the area that we're working towards? The thought exercise is take 2 components of your workday recently. One positive and one maybe negative. Or if you only have positive, take several positives. For the positive, really reflect on what you did well, what really came across clearly, and really how were you able to find value in that, in some area that maybe didn't turn out quite as you expected, and you're reflecting, and maybe things would have turned out better if something was done differently. Really ask yourself, is there something that I can do creatively to make this outcome different in the future? And spend a couple minutes and go back and forth between a positive and a negative, or just stay on the positive. But look at your day and realize that there is both good and bad. If you recognize your tendency to focus more on the bad, then try to find more good things that you're really proud of or that turned out well. If you're really cheery and everything turns out great, and you're like, well, there's some problem and you have to go back a few days, and then count yourself blessed, because it's a lot easier to meditate and dwell on the hard things than it is to find the good things that you're doing throughout your workday and in your life. 6, financial health. This area is about managing your money wisely, building wealth, saving, investing, and creating financial security for yourself and your family. I think one of the biggest areas that is lacking in this particular category is really education. If you look at anybody that is really wealthy or doing things in the world, one of the first things that they will tell you in that process is that they learned or from either their family, their parents, or from a book, a different way of thinking about money. So as we look at financial health And if it is really a weak spot for you and you're like, no, I don't really have good health, financial health, the real encouragement would be you don't have to stay there, but start to learn. Just as you would apply yourself to any other skill, learn about money, learn about this world, understand how it works, what people do to earn it, and there's a lot of books out there. What I would like you to do is reflect on your current thoughts about money and how important they are to your value. Is the amount of money that you make or have or don't have a large part of your identity? And reflect, is this the value that I want to have? Take a couple minutes and look at how much of your energy, attention, focus is focused on money, whether it's getting or debt or whatever aspect of money that you're thinking about, and really reflect on how much of your identity and your world is wrapped up in this concept. And ask yourself the question after you kind of have a sense, is this what I want? Don't have to change it, don't have to do anything, but just in this process of asking, is this mindset of how much of my value is wrapped up in money what I want? And if it is, great, keep at it. If it's not, then it gives you a moment of pause to be like, oh, okay, maybe I need to adjust something. And we will go into some of these areas as we go on talking about this down the road. We will go into this in the future. We will talk about more about money and about all of these areas and how they affect our value, and really reflect on them and come up with more exercise and maybe more things even in groups that we can do, and kind of bring these things to a place where the goal with all of these areas is that our reflection is, this is what I want. This is what I want my life to look like. And that's going to be very different for different kinds of people. As we mentioned a lot about Alex Hormozi, his life is composed around career and fitness, and there are certain areas that is very large in his life. He also has a big component of his family. He is very multifaceted, that he has a lot of areas, but they're very big. And I think I like him as an example because you have multifaceted life, and everybody has a multifaceted life. And so to become one area all-inclusive is really a challenge. The seventh area is physical environment. This area covers the immediate surroundings, your home, your workplace, and the space that you spend time in. It's about creating an environment that you're safe, organized, and comfortable, and that promotes a sense of well-being and productivity. This is an area that we will spend a lot of time on as well, because our environment, the things that we do, the space that we have, our room, Jordan Peterson's quote of just making your bed and how it will improve your life. There's so many different areas that affect your environment and kind of where you're at, that this is a big part of it. Thought exercise, space audit. Take a moment to mentally review your living workspace. Thought exercise, space audit. Take a moment to mentally review your living workspace. Ask yourself, what's one area of this space that feels cluttered or uninviting? Then imagine how you could feel if that area was cleaned or reorganized. This is a simple exercise to motivate you to practical steps to changing your environment and to really recognize the effect that it may be having on you, and really make some small step in the direction that the space around you will help you reflect and be more of who you want to be. This is a particular area that really affects women, I think, more than men, but it has an effect on both of us. I only say that right now is because as you're working with a spouse or another person, that you also need to reflect on what their space and how you affect on their space. I know that this is a big contention point in relationships, and as you work on your space, your spouse is probably going to be happier and feel better as well about your environment and what you're doing. And the last area of life, number 8, fun and recreation. This area involves leisure activities, hobbies, and entertainment that bring joy and relaxation. It's about taking time to enjoy life explore interests, and maintain a sense of fun and balance and creativity. This area is probably one of my biggest soapboxes because especially as parents move into their kids, if you watch the first video, I talk about different activities that are related around fun and recreation and how value is really shaped in this area. And so this one is one that we will go into talk about more, but especially if you're a parent or if you weren't really in an environment where you really gained value as a kid, to really find ways to have fun and recreation as part of your life and to begin to explore your value in an environment where there isn't as strict and as high repercussions. If you're playing a board game and you lose, there's no outcome to the rest of your life. Or if you win, or if you do something really well and you're seen, you can gain value in those moments and really bring healing to past areas. And it's just a very important area of life. The final thought exercise is playful visualization. Close your eyes and think of an activity that you truly enjoy, something that makes you feel carefree and energized. This may be more difficult for some than others, but if you can't think of an activity, just think back to a moment where you really felt carefree and where you were really able to engage with playful activity that didn't really have any repercussions or correlations. It could be something creative, something crafting, and then reflect on how that connected you deeper to your value. And really reflect on that moment and ask yourself, is this something that I can develop further? Is there something more that I can do in this area? And as the weeks come and as I talk about this more, there will be a whole lot more ideas on how to make this area of fun and play a primary component of how we find our value. As I develop all of these areas, I will bring you along this journey. I am learning as well, and I don't come to you necessarily as an expert, but as someone that really wants to find their value and also wants to bring you along. We want to find hope. We want to give steps that really bring you closer to the person that you want to be, that really reflect your internal value, and that you can really become a multifaceted person, that we can move away from it being this one area is all that my life represents to being multiple aspects. And really the benefit of having multiple areas and multiple things that you're involved in your life is that if for whatever terrible reason one of those areas doesn't continue to bring you the fulfillment or hope that it does currently for whatever reason, that you have multiple areas of your life that you can bring value from. Thank you very much. As we go through the next coming weeks, we will reflect more on different topics, different ideas. Part of these 8 areas, there's other areas that I really want to focus on your internal world, but hopefully one of these different 8 thoughtful exercises will bring you a little bit closer to the person that you want to be and help you out along your journey. Thank you very much. If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it, and we will catch you next time.